emergency services, raising fears of a possible suicide attempt. The incident started around 11 a.m., causing a massive traffic gridlock along the Zaria Road as crowds gathered to watch.
What he's saying is that until the governor of Kano or the president comes, or until he's promised a car, or until the head of TikTok content producers in Kano arrives, he will not come down. So we don't know what's wrong with him. He has been up there since around 7 a.m., but the crowds didn't start to gather here until around 10 or 11 a.m. when he began drawing attention. As for us who run businesses around here, we don't know him and we can't say what's wrong with him, whether it's pressure, drugs, or something else.
Fascinating scenes from Kano. In other news, gunmen killed 3 women and injured 2 men in a fresh attack on Monday morning in Teebe community, Miango district of Basa local government area of Plateau State. The victims, one family, were attacked while harvesting tomatoes. The injured were rushed to Jos for treatment. The incident happened as a fact-finding committee set up by Governor Caleb Motuang was meeting locals at the Basa Council Secretariat. Led by Major General Nicholas Rogers retired, the committee visited the scene to condole with families and calm protesting youths through engagement.
We were at the local government headquarters with the chairman, discussing ways to move peace forward. And all of a sudden, we are told there was an attack in this Teebe. So we quickly mobilized with the chairman and my team and the other security agencies, and we are here to meet 3 dead bodies, 2 young innocent girls and a woman. Before on our way coming here, we branched at the local hospital where one of the men who went to farming today was macheted completely, almost dead. With bullet wounds. With bullet wounds all over. He's been treated, and the second man has his stomach ripped off. The intestines are all out. Has been rushed to Jos for special treatment.
Staying with developments in Jos, the Northern Senators Forum has condemned the mob killing of 12 travelers from Kaduna State in Plateau State on Friday while en route to a wedding in Kwang Pang local government area. Chairman Abdulaziz Musa Yaradua called the attack barbaric and cowardly, urging swift justice and stronger intelligence from the police to prevent future tragedies. The forum also called on the federal government to equip security agencies with modern surveillance tools and warned against reprisal attacks. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says his administration is delivering on its promise to make Nigeria a global agricultural powerhouse. Speaking in Abuja at the launch of the Renewed Hope Agricultural Mechanization Program, the president says new reforms aim to modernize farming and attract young Nigerians into the sector. He also announced partnerships with countries like Belarus to train Nigerian youths in modern agriculture, machine repairs and equipment manufacturing for greater self-reliance.
This government recognizes that the agricultural productivity is synonymous with national stability and food sovereignty. The ability to nourish our population form the bedrock of a prosperous nation. Our ambition extends beyond mere self-sufficiency. We envision Nigeria as a global agricultural powerhouse, supplying quality produce to international markets while ensuring every citizen has access to affordable nutrition food.
This is the news on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Kano market booms as Crocs become fashion statement for youths. More on this after the break. Welcome back to the news. Thank you most kindly for staying with us. Let's take another look at our top stories. Iran launches missiles at US bases in the Middle East. Moving on to some of today's other news stories, our stakeholders seek alternative funding from civil society projects following USAID cuts. The Development Research and Project Center is stepping in to fill the void. Under its NGO support initiative, the DRPC has awarded grants to no fewer than 17 NGOs across Nigeria aimed at sustaining critical community-driven interventions. Here's Trust TV's Noel Sampson with more.
On the first day of his second term, U.S. President Donald Trump signed Executive Order 14169, placing a 90-day pause on foreign aid, including a freeze on U.S. aid programs. This move is of particular concern to Nigeria, which received $1 billion in 2023 and $780 million in 2024 from U.S. aid, mainly for health, clean water, HIV/AIDS treatment, and other development projects. Since the order took effect, the civil society space as well as development projects in Nigeria, among other beneficiary nations, have been greatly impacted. To address this challenge and ensure that key projects in health, education, and other critical sectors are sustained, the DPRC is stepping in. Speaking at the launch of the Grants Award, Judith Ann Walker, a founding member and executive director of the DPRC, spoke about the purpose of the initiative and its significance, while other resource persons addressed the NIS Grant Awards process.
This particular initiative is to respond to a particular challenge that we have seen. Many NGOs have lost their income, they've lost their grants, they've lost the ability to impact positively at the community level and do the work that they've done and they've established for years. So this initiative is to address this juncture, this break in funding, this break in development work at community level.
And out of these 495 applications, we shortlisted the valid applications from all over Nigeria to 139. And the third stage was for a group of assessors who are made up of 5 previous grantees of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that was anchored by DRPC through the PACFA at Scale project.
Grantees who spoke at the event expressed gratitude to DPRC for the opportunity and pledged judicious use of the grant.
This is a great opportunity for Bawida and we cannot take it for granted. On behalf of all the grantees, I say God bless DRPC. It's a relief. You know, when you hear about relief material, when you are cut short and somebody behind push you forward, you know what that means.
I was very excited that evening. I saw the congratulatory note from them because it was actually overwhelming because the life of our beneficiaries was actually put to a pause because of this stop work by USAID funding. So this will actually gain back trust between us and our beneficiaries in our community of implementation.
Oh, we're very happy to be a part of this program. For the longest time, we had worried that the reduction in the grant amounts that were being given and the pulling out of USAID was going to have a very negative effect on our programs. And this is something that brings a positive spin to the situation.
The Development Research and Project Center, DPRC, founded in 1993, is a Nigerian non-profit organization that empowers civil society groups to address development and humanitarian challenges. It focuses on building the capacity of CSOs to implement sustainable solutions, especially for women, girls, and vulnerable communities, making them crucial for strengthening civil society in Nigeria. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, Crocs are no longer just a footwear. They have become a fashion statement across Nigeria, especially among youths and healthcare workers. Now, in Kano's bustling Kofarwambe market, locally crafted and imported variants are selling fast as manufacturers and traders ride the wave of demand for this comfortable, stylish, and pocket-friendly footwear. Here's Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim with more in this story.
Rubber Crocs are now the go-to simple fashion shoes in Nigeria, with soaring demand seen in markets across the country. In Kano's bustling Kofar Wambai market, dozens of shops now specialize in Crocs as Nigerian manufacturers tap into the growing appetite for these rubber shoes. This is what we mainly sell here at this part of Kofar Wambai market. Over the past few years, we've seen many different varieties emerge, including those made locally. As you can see, we have some on display here, but the more popular and expensive ones are imported, especially from Egypt. Originally known for their use by medical professionals due to their comfort and durability, Crocs have evolved into a fashion trend, especially the chunky, colorful styles now in vogue. Honestly, Crocs are trending now. Both men and women love them, especially students in nursing schools. That's why we focus on selling Crocs and half covers, which are also in high demand. So we sell the original Crocs wholesale at 15,000 naira. Retail prices vary, as some go for 17,500 or 16,500 depending on the shop. Business is thriving here in Kano because prices are relatively affordable. Some pairs cost between 15,000 naira and 17,000 naira, while others range from 10,500 to 7,000 naira, and the non-original version sell even for as low as 1,500 naira. The appeal of Crocs cut across social classes, driven by their affordability and versatility. It goes with any kind of outfit and color. I know this because I'm very fashion conscious. I may not always afford leather shoes, but these ones are affordable for many people like me. But how do locally made versions compare to the imported ones? Most of our stock is imported, but we also have Nigerian made types like this one here. The designs and quality are very similar to the imported ones. You can hardly tell the difference. However, traders say sales have been inconsistent due to the impact of fuel subsidy removal and the resulting economic strain. From our perspective as traders, we are affected by rising costs. While consumers blame us, it's the companies who supply us that are raising the prices due to exchange rate and high fuel prices. Despite this, we haven't increased our own prices. As Crocs continue to trend nationwide, traders in Kano are hopeful that improved economic conditions will sustain demand and keep their business thriving. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has reaffirmed the commitment of the National Opposition Coalition to present a united front to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2027 general election. Speaking during an appearance on Arise News Prime Time in Abuja, El-Rufai says the coalition, which includes prominent figures like former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, is determined to rally Nigerians behind what he described as a, quote, credible and viable alternative to failed leadership. He declared that Tinubu's government has lost the confidence of the people, citing rising insecurity, economic hardship, and what he called an obsession with the 2027 politics over governance. According to the former governor of Kaduna State, the president has no realistic path to victory given the growing frustration across the country. The opposition coalition has already submitted a request to the Independent National Electoral Commission to register a new political party, the All Democratic Alliance, as part of its plans to reshape Nigeria's political future.
Many of the leaders expressed concern that perhaps the best way to avoid this, you are dealing with a mischievous government and party that is totally immoral. They will do anything to eliminate all opposition, is to register a brand new party. And the Constitution and the Electoral Acts are very, very clear about the qualifications for registering a new party. Many of us do not believe that under the current leadership of INEC, a new party will be registered because Dr. Mahmoud Yakubu is not Jega and President Tinubu is not Jonathan. Okay, those were the people in charge when the APC was registered, and many were pessimistic about the prospects of registering a new party. But we said, let's try it anyway. Let's show that INEC is not independent. Let's show that this government is interfering to ensure there is no opposition.
Gunmen suspected to be armed robbers have killed Abdul Wahab Abubakar, a 300-level student of Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida University, Lapai, in Niger State. The Monday attack sparked fury, with students blocking major roads and vandalizing the university's security office over what they called a 6-month wave of unchecked attacks. Some also stormed the emir's palace to express their anger. The incident occurred around 2 a.m. at Ndakitabu area, just hours after the deceased returned to campus. Police have confirmed this killing.
Man, I burn everything. How about a school gate today? Man, I spray the tear gas. Man, I spray them. Nothing goes up. Man, I spray them. Nothing goes up. Come on the gate. Come on down. Come on the gate. Come on down.
And in Bayelsa State, the Nigerian Bar Association Yenagoa branch on Monday staged a symbolic court boycott across Bayelsa to protest the kidnapping of Justice Ibiering Emukoro, a serving High Court judge in the state. The NBA described the move as a strong call for action, demanding security agencies secure his safe return. Emukoro was abducted Saturday night by masked gunmen outside a popular restaurant in Yenagoa shortly after returning from Warri. His whereabouts remain unknown. The Ondo State government has demolished a memorial park built by late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu to honor victims of the 2022 Owo Church attack. The cenotaph, located in the heart of Owo town, was removed on Governor Loki Aiyedatiwa's order following complaints from the Olowo Palace, which opposed the park's location near the palace, citing cultural concerns. The Olowo in council claimed it had warned the previous administration against citing the monument at that particular spot, saying such structures deviate from Owo's traditions and could attract spiritual consequences if ignored. To Taraba State, where a 100-level student of the Taraba State Polytechnic, Ihore Samuel Paul, is facing a life-altering challenge after surviving a tragic electrocution that resulted in the amputation of both hands. The incident occurred in Jalingo, the state capital, on May 21st, near the Polytechnic Gate along roadblock to ATC Road, while the student was hoisting a flag for the People's Democratic Party (PDP). The metal handle of the flagpole accidentally touched a high-tension power line, unleashing a violent electric shock that left him severely injured and unconscious. He was rushed to Gilead Hospital for emergency care, then later referred to the National Orthopedic Hospital within Taraba State Specialist Hospital, where a double amputation was performed on June 19, 2025 to save his life. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has vowed to go ahead with its 100th National Executive Committee meeting, scheduled for June 30th, 2025, despite the Independent National Electoral Commission's rejection of its notice. INEC has cited non-compliance with its guidelines, stating that the notice was not jointly signed by the National Chairman and Secretary of the PDP as required under Part 2, Sub 12 of 3 of the 2022 regulations for political parties. Responding at a press conference, the PDP spokesperson, Debo Ologunaba, dismissed INEC's claims, maintaining that the party is under no legal obligation to notify the Commission for NEC meetings that do not involve electing party officers or candidates.
Preparatory to our national convention, the NEC recognized that the need for more that has a kind of a buy-in of all segments of the party and members across the country. At that meeting, you recall that the NEC unanimously at the 99th meeting scheduled and approved the 30th of June for the next NEC meeting, which is about a week from now. And consistent with our plans, to get our acts together, we needed to brief you to know where we are, what we are doing.
A joint task force comprising the Nigerian Army, the Navy, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Office of the Chief of Defense Staff has raided an illegal refinery allegedly run by Transtel Group in the Abo Industrial Layout near Onitsha in Anambra State. Security operatives recovered truckloads of illegally refined petroleum products, which were subsequently moved to a dump site near the Second Niger Bridge and destroyed. Spokesperson of the Joint Task Force, Assistant Commandant Chinweze Chinenye, says the raid followed detailed intelligence and revealed that the company disguised its operations using a front for producing vegetable and palm kernel oil while running the illegal site at the back. Now, the raid sparked allegations that troops harassed staff and carted away vegetable oil products worth over 200 million naira. However, the Chief Security Officer of Transtel Group, Ralph Njoku, dismissed the claim, insisting that such incident did not occur. A major revenue shakeup is underway for the Nigeria Customs Service as the House of Representatives Committee on Customs issued a directive that could significantly restructure the country's import revenue framework. The committee says it is time to enforce existing laws and phase out controversial deductions that have long affected the transparency and efficiency of customs revenue collection. The report.
The continued collection of the 1% Comprehensive Import Supervision Scheme (CISS) fee by the Nigerian Customs Service has become a contentious issue, especially in light of recent developments. Under the Customs Act 2023, a new 4% FOB charge was introduced, which many believe was meant to replace the older 1% CISS. Despite this, Customs has continued to collect the 1% CISS, leading to accusations of double taxation. Lawmakers argue this practice is not only burdensome, but may be unlawful as it lacks clarity and appears to contradict the intent of the new law. The committee therefore made its stance clear that starting July 1st, 2025, the Nigerian Customs Service is expected to stop collecting the 70% cost of collection fee in line with provisions of the Customs Act.
We will challenge you in the court of law. Any attempt not to start what the law says you should do, you also face the wrath of the law. We are not joking here. We are representatives of the people. Even the 7% cost of collection you are taking is equally illegal. It's an executive fiat of the military. This is a democratic dispensation. Those in support that 7% illegal collection should stop say aye. Those against say nay. Let's have it.
Instead, The lawmakers directed the agency to begin collecting 4% free on-board charges on all imports, a switch meant to align revenue practices with the new law.
I, as chairman, have gone through your proposal, your 2024 budget performance, and was flabbergasted, astonished, surprised, and lack words to express the level of poor funding of Nigeria Customs Service, which made the level of your performance on personnel costs to stand at 43.53%.
Representing the Comptroller General, Deputy Comptroller General Bello Jibo defended the agency's record, revealing that customs generated 6.105 trillion naira in 2024, surpassing its target by over 90%.
Revenue performance of 2024 budget. The approved revenue target for the year 2024 stood at 5.079 trillion. Remarkably, the service collected a total revenue of 6.105 trillion for the period of January to December 2024.
The service also reiterated the importance of aligning customs revenue collection processes with statutory provisions.
The service proposed a budget of 1.132 trillion for the 2025 fiscal year, which will be sourced from the following items: 4% FOB for 2024, 1.070 trillion. 2% VAT shares of NCS, 33.01 billion.
The lawmakers are calling for stricter financial discipline and a customs service fully aligned with national laws.
You're still watching the News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be back with more news stories in just a moment. Join us again. To some of the breaking news stories unfolding at this hour, U.S. President Donald Trump has confirmed that Iran has responded to Washington's attacks on Tehran's nuclear facilities on Monday, saying that 14 missiles were fired, out of which 13 were knocked down and one was headed in a non-threatening direction. The President of the United States added that no Americans were harmed in the response and said that there was hardly any damage done. The U.S. President said Iran had got it out of their system and hoped for peace. He also says that he would encourage both Iran and Israel to maintain peace. Staying with some more breaking news, operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have arrested a former Chief Financial Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Umar Isa, over an alleged $7.2 billion fraud linked to the rehabilitation of the Kaduna, Warri and Port Harcourt refineries. Also in the custody of the EFCC is Jimo Olasunkomi, a former managing director of Warri Refinery. Isa, as Chief Financial Officer, was in charge of the release of funds for the turnaround maintenance of the 3 refineries. Isa and all key officials involved in the maintenance of the refineries and other NNPC key projects are being investigated for alleged abuse of office, corruption, diversion of funds and kickbacks from contractors. Well, let's move over to some developments in business. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria has announced plans to increase tariffs for all service providers operating at its airports as part of a broader strategy to boost revenue generation. The authority also revealed its move towards a fully automated, contactless payment system, phasing out cash transactions at payment points. FAN noted that 92% of its current revenue comes from aeronautical sources compared to only 8% from non-aeronautical activities, a significant deviation from global standards where non-aeronautical revenue accounts for over 40% in many developed nations. The agency described the shift as a crucial step towards modernizing its operations and rebalancing its revenue mix to align with international best practices. Speaking at the Commercial and Development Stakeholders Engagement Forum on Monday in Lagos, FAN's Director of Commercial and Business Development, Adebola Agumbiade, says the tariff review would be done in a manner that balances affordability for service providers with the agency's need to meet financial obligations. She added that FAN will give adequate notice to stakeholders before implementing the new tariff structure. Well, let's bring you some more on the international scene and on the African continent. Mali's military strongman, General Assimi Goïta, on Monday told Russian leader Vladimir Putin in Moscow that he wanted to, quote, reinforce ties with the Kremlin, a key supporter of the West African country's battle against terrorism. Under the general, who came to power after a military coup in 2020 and 2021, Mali has steered away, from its former colonial master France, mainly in favor of closer ties with Moscow. Goïta's days-long visit comes as Mali struggles to contain the country's long-running terror threat. The general, who arrived in Moscow on Sunday and is meant to stay most of the week, said he wanted to expand cooperation in defense, transport, and in the economy. Russia has for years sought to expand its influence in Africa, in particular through the rise of mercenaries sponsored by the Kremlin. Putin said it was, quote, a great pleasure to host the African junta chief in Moscow. Mali, alongside Niger Republic and Burkina Faso, exited the West African bloc ECOWAS in early 2025. Kenya is on the edge as the country prepares for the first anniversary of the June 2024 protests. On Wednesday, thousands gathered on the streets last year to protest the government's controversial finance bill and its heavy tax rises. Demonstrators stormed the Parliament building in Nairobi on June 25, 2024, while police opened fire on the protesting crowd. President William Ruto withdrew the bill the following day. Opposition leaders and youth groups have vowed to return to the streets in honor of those who died in the Gen Z-led movement. Over 60 people were killed and 82 forcibly or involuntarily disappeared over the course of the demonstrations, according to rights groups Civicus Monitor. The Nairobi police assured victims and their families that Wednesday's memorial rally would be secured. Time now for some sports update with Kabir Lawal.
There are strong indications that sprinter Favour Ofili may have made up her mind to turn back against Nigerian athletics and embrace the Turkish Federation. This means that starting from 2028 Olympics, Ofili will be eligible to represent Turkey. Since the Paris 2024 Olympics, where the Athletics Federation of Nigeria AFN failed to list her for the 100-meter event, Ofili has not hidden her plans to part ways with the country of birth. According to reports, Ofili, a former distinguished junior athlete, has already filed an application to switch allegiance to Turkey as of May 31, 2025, notifying the Athletics Integrity Unit AIU of her intentions. Ofili listed that she has been frustrated in her athletics career by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria AFN, recalling her disqualification alongside 12 other athletes from the Tokyo 2020 Olympics due to Nigerians' non-compliance with doping regulations. She also complained about her omission from the women's 100-meter event at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games by Nigerian officials. The AFN was mute on the development on Sunday, but Ofili's decision has elicited debate on the quality of people ruling Nigerian athletics. As of Monday, Ofili is still listed as Nigeria's by the World Athletics ahead of the next month's World Championship. The 22-year-old is one of the Nigerian athletes that have qualified for the World Championship, which will be held from September 13th to 21st in Tokyo. Ofili holds the national 200-meter women's record with 21.96 seconds and personal best of 10.78 seconds performances she did in year 2022. She also holds the 150-meter world record. Still on sport news, the chairman of the National Sports Commission NSC, Bala Shehu Diko, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to using sport as a tool for national development, youth empowerment, and job creation. Speaking on plans for 2025 Nigerian University Games Association (NUGA), he described the event as a landmark initiative to discover and nurture young talent from grassroots communities across Nigeria. According to him, the event will bring together stakeholders from the sports and education sectors to discuss the roadmap of NUGA 2025. Shehu Diko, alongside other officials, emphasized the tournament's potential to transform sports development in the country. He praised President Bola Tinubu for his unwavering support and dedication to youth development through sports. He added that the event comes at the right time for Nigeria to harness the potential of its youth and create millions of jobs. He stressed that the impact of the competition will extend beyond a single year, aiming to empower young people and help them to become champions on the international stage throughout their career. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Low.
And just before we go, on a sad note, mourners have paid tribute to Hajia Rabi Idris, the mother of Daily Trust Editor-in-Chief Hamza Idris, who passed away at the age of 75. She died in her country home in Reechoes area of Kano after a brief illness and is survived by 11 children. Family members remembered her for her motherly disposition and virtues that helped shape them into responsible members of the society. She has since been laid to rest in accordance with Islamic tradition.
She was a mother to all 11 of us. We lost our father 5 years ago. We are grateful to Allah for her life. She was always supportive, and we pray that Allah grants her eternal rest and admits her among the followers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
She had been ill for a long time and eventually lost the use of her legs, yet she remained patient and unwavering in her faith. Even in her final days, she devoted herself fully to worship.
Our condolences to the Idris family in Kano. Well, that is it, a wrap-up of the day's latest news stories. Thank you most kindly for joining us on the News Hour. Feel free to stay in touch by following us across our social media platforms. You can also visit our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news, programs and documentaries. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. From myself and the rest of the team, thank you for your time and good evening.